Your grand debut into existence starts buried under a suffocating pile of sand. You're a leatherback sea turtle hatchling, and the very first challenge of your life is digging out. You use your tiny flippers like spatulas to scoop and push. Once you emerge into the chaos of the moonlit beach, there is one instinct driving you. You have to follow the brightest horizon to reach the safety of the ocean waves. That strategy worked flawlessly for millions of years. But today, humans have built cities, hotels, and streets right on the coastline, turning quiet nesting grounds into Times Square. This dazzling display tricks a few of your siblings into running in the opposite direction. Every step in the wrong direction is a death sentence. The beach is crawling with predators, from birds to crabs, who treat the illuminated sand like an open buffet. Millions of years of perfectly tuned navigational evolution can be completely neutralized by a single century of human coastal development. Those who survive the gauntlet on the sand finally throw themselves into the cold water, but reaching the water offers zero relief. You've simply swapped a beach hazard for a hyper-lethal aquatic war zone. The shallow coastal waters are packed with hungry barracudas patrolling the surf, while frigate birds screech from above, plunging their beaks into the waves. Within minutes, dozens of the siblings who made it off the beach are snatched up. Your best defense right now is your anatomy. Unlike other turtles, your shell is completely soft and flexible, letting you maneuver and dive fast into the deeper depths to effectively escape the chaos at the surface. You are barely a few hours old, and you've survived an environment that eliminates almost every hatchling that tries to cross it. The coastal ocean acts as a ruthless biological filter, letting only the absolute luckiest slip through to the open sea. The survivors now enter a phase called the lost years. For protection, juvenile turtles drift thousands of kilometers out in the open ocean, taking shelter in dense, floating patches of sargassum seaweed. It acts as a mobile fortress, a personal snack bar, and a place to grow strong. Take a look at this schematic of the turtle's respiratory cycle, which illustrates a major biological constraint. Despite living at sea, you are an air-breathing reptile. Your lungs demand calculated trips back up to the surface. You can inhale and exhale in mere seconds, completely replenishing your oxygen stores to fuel a 40-minute submerged foraging session. If we look further down that same chart, you can see an extreme defense mechanism. If a frigate bird or a surface predator spots you while you breathe, you can plunge over 3,000 feet into the abyss, dropping far beyond the hunting zones of standard marine threats. Even when cornered by a shark closer to the surface, you have enough stamina to zigzag through the water like an underwater sports car. You can dart into the jagged, maze-like structures of coral reefs, where larger predators physically cannot follow. These traits, the extreme dive depth, the reef maneuverability, and the high-efficiency lungs, work together to form a biological toolkit that allows you to outlive nearly any natural predator in the ocean. All of that evasion requires fuel, and your primary food source is suspended right in the water column, jellyfish. Your jaws are built specifically to chew through their highly venomous, stinging tentacles with ease. But the modern ocean is full of synthetic debris. A discarded plastic grocery bag floating in the current mimics the translucent, pulsing shape of a jellyfish flawlessly. Sea turtles swallow their food whole. Because your diet consists almost entirely of these gelatinous creatures, a single misjudgment in identifying a piece of plastic leads directly to a fatal choking hazard. Human waste has created a lethal evolutionary trap. The very biological advantage that allowed you to eat venomous prey no other animal wanted has been weaponized into your greatest vulnerability. Fast forward 16 years, and you have survived to adulthood. You now measure 2 meters long, weigh up to 1,100 pounds, and feel a primal urge to return to the shallow coastal waters to find a mate. The shallows host a brutal competition. The males engage in underwater brawls, rearing up face to face, slapping, shoving, and ramming their massive shells against rivals to assert dominance. These battles can drag on for hours. It requires grueling physical endurance, and by the end of the mating season, the victorious males are left with permanently scarred shells and frayed fins. Once fertilized, the female relies on a different survival tool. This projection maps out Earth's magnetic grid lines. Buried deep in her brain is a biological GPS capable of sensing the specific intensity and angle of these magnetic fields, locking onto a precise coordinate system that leads her exactly back to the beach where she was born. When she arrives, she has to drag her 1,200-pound frame out of the buoyant water and inch up the dry beach. It takes a massive physical toll just to dig a hole deep enough to securely deposit her clutches of eggs. Even in this highly vulnerable state, she faces modern disruptions. Crowds of tourists frequently surround the nesting mothers, causing severe stress and blinding them with camera flashes in the dark. The entire adult life cycle is an exhausting, dangerous loop of brutal combat and hyper-precise navigation, driven entirely by a primal biological imperative to keep the species alive against staggering odds. After the mating and nesting season concludes, the adults head back out into the open ocean. You are now an apex survivor, cruising the currents in search of dense clusters of jellyfish to regain your strength. You spot what looks like perfectly concentrated groups of prey, but the food is surrounded by miles of invisible commercial fishing nets suspended in the water column. As the thin strands brush against you, instinct takes over. You use the powerful flippers designed to cross entire oceans to back up, but every frantic struggle only twists the synthetic mesh. The web pulls tighter until you are completely immobilized. Normally, you can hold your breath for up to 85 minutes, but panic spikes your heart rate, causing your lungs to burn through their oxygen supply. You suffocate while the surface sits agonizingly out of reach, just 30 feet above you. A creature armored to outlast apex predators meets its end tied to a synthetic rope. You aren't even the targeted catch. You're just useless, accidental bycatch. Hours later, the fishing crew pulls up the net. Finding your lifeless, 1,000-pound body tangled in their gear, they treat you as an annoying extra weight. They curse, toss the turtle back into the ocean, and move on with their day. An adult leatherback acts as a primary regulator for the ocean's most prolific consumers. Each of these turtles consumes hundreds of pounds of jellyfish every single day. This flowchart demonstrates the direct ecological fallout of losing that regulator. As leatherback populations drop, the natural check on jellyfish is removed. This triggers a massive spike in jellyfish populations, allowing them to dominate the waters and consume commercial fish larvae. By treating these turtles as disposable bycatch, we are clearing the way for a jellyfish-dominated ocean. It is a shift that disrupts the fish stocks we rely on, proving that the cost of industrial carelessness extends far beyond a single tangled net.